Good morning, students. My name is Poonam Daswani. I hope you all are good and your family is doing great. Students, today we will start with the GK lesson 4, that is, where will you see them? GK lesson 4, where will you see them? Students, here are some sentences. You have to tick the correct answer where you see or use the things. Where will you see the messages or notices? Tick the correct answer. You have to tick the correct answer where you see them outside of what? House full. House full board. Where do you see it? You see it. You see the house full board at home. Do anyone of you write house full at outside your house? No. Where do you see them? In front of a cinema hall? Yeah. Yes, in front of a cinema hall. Why do you see them outside the cinema hall? Because when the tickets are over and there are no tickets left for selling, it is written house full. As you can see in the Indian cinema, outside the cinema house, when the tickets are over and there are no tickets for selling, you see the board house full. Now we move ahead. Fasten your seat belt. Where do you see this notice, or where do you see hear these words? Fasten your seat belt. Where do you see this? You see it in an aeroplane, or you see it on a train. Do you have seat belt in trains? Have you all traveled in train? Yes, all of you have traveled in a train. But in aeroplane, some of you might have traveled, some might have not traveled in aeroplane. So in train, do you all see the seat belts? No. So where do you see? Fasten your seat belt. You see it in an aeroplane. Means when the airplane is ready to take off and to uh, take off, the it gets a push up. So to remain firm on your seat, you have to tie these seat belts. As you can see in the image, this is the seat of the aeroplane and the belt has been tied to a passenger so that they doesn't move or fall from the seat when the airplane takes off or when the airplane is ready to land. During takeoff and when the plane is landing, you have to tie the seat belts which are there in the seat. That's why it is known as seat belts. Credit cards accepted. Where do you see this notice that credit cards are accepted? Nowadays, you don't have to take money in cash. You can pay it by credit card. You can pay it through the mobile phone. So where it is written that you can pay by credit cards? Uh, in a restaurant or on a bus? Have you all traveled? You all might have traveled in bus. So in the bus, who collects the money? Who gives us the ticket? The bus conductor gives us the ticket. So does he accept the card? No. Why? Because there we have to pay money in cash. So where credit cards are accepted? They are accepted in the restaurants. if you eat in a restaurant and you pay your money by the card, it is okay. Outside many restaurants, it is written credit cards accepted. So you can pay money by the means of credit card in the restaurant. Now number 4 is LLB. Where do you see this LLB written? Where do you see this LLB written? Beside a lawyer's name or beside a doctor's name? Where is it written? LLB is written in near a doctor's name or near a lawyer's name. What do you mean by LLB? What is the full form of LLB? The full form of LLB is Bachelor of Legislative Law. Legium Bachelors is Latin commonly known as Bachelor of Laws. Originating in England, is an undergraduate degree in law and offered in most common law countries like India. The abbreviation LLB is commonly known as Bachelor of Legislative Law in India. It is a degree. Which degree is it? It is a lawyer's degree. It is not a doctor's degree. LLB is a lawyer's degree, which means Bachelor of Law. LLB means Bachelor of Law. So LLB is written besides a lawyer's name. Now we move ahead. Silence. Silence. Where do you hear this word more oftenly? Where it is used? Where this word silence is used? Is it used in a restaurant or in a library? Why do you go in a restaurant? You go to eat and have fun with your family. So if you do not talk in the restaurant, is it okay? It will be right not to talk in the restaurant? No, you you will talk in the restaurant, as there are many people moving in and out of the restaurant. So there is a lot of noise and talking of the people. But when you enter into a library, do you talk loudly in the library? No, you cannot talk loudly in the library. Why? Why you cannot talk loudly in the library? Because library is a place of study. Study in silence. That's why silent library. That's why silence is mainly used in library. The rule of silence must be observed in the library, as library is the place of quiet learning. You quietly go in the library and do your own work and study. So you should not make noise in the reading room. You should silently read your book. That is the rule of the library, not to make noise and to be silent. So silence is observed in the library. Now we move ahead. Where will you see these things? Where will you see these signs? Sorry, students, I missed one question here. We'll move on to MBBS now. MBBS. Where do you see this MBBS? Beside a doctor's name or beside a computer expert's name? Students, where do you see MBBS? besides a doctor's name or beside a computer expert's name? What is the full form of MBBS? What is the full form of MBBS? MBBS means Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery. Now, where these words are used, medicine and surgery are used with the name of doctors. They are not used behind the computer expert's name. For the computer expert name are the developer and engineer, all those types of name. For MBBS, it is used beside the doctor's name, as MBBS, full form of MBBS is Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery. So MBBS used beside the doctor's name. MBBS is used beside the doctor's name. Students, now we move ahead with the B question. The B question is, where will you see these signs? Where will you see these signs? Where do you see the sign of no smoking? Where do you see the sign of no smoking? Where will you see this sign? The sign of no smoking is like this. Where do you see this sign? On a street or at a petrol pump? Where do you see this sign? On a street you see this sign? No, because on a street there are many people, those who are going and coming and are walking. So we cannot stop people from smoking there. You should not smoke in a public area. But we cannot put this sign on the street. This sign is put on a petrol pump. A person is strictly advised to not to smoke at a petrol pump. This is even a punishable offense in some parts of the world. Means it is against the rules of the government. They get the punishment if they smoke at the petrol pump. The atmosphere at a petrol pump is highly inflammable. Highly inflammable means which catches fire very fast. A person who is smoking is probably carrying a lighter. Without a lighter, you cannot burn the cigarette. A person who has to burn a cigarette is carrying a lighter, which can cause a fire at a fuel station, means petrol pump. So it is highly advisable not to smoke at petrol pump, because the area of the petrol pump is highly inflammable, means it catches fire very fast. If a person is smoking, he has to burn a cigarette, he is carrying a lighter with him, which can cause fire at the petrol station. That's why this sign is put of no smoking. No smoking is put at the petrol pump. Now we move ahead. Rights of admission reserved. What do you mean by this? Rights of admission reserved. Is it written on a railway platform or is it written in a club? Where do you see this board? Rights of admission reserved means there are some restrictions on the people who come inside the clubs or the restaurants. There are some limitations. There are right of the owners put outside the hotels and clubs, means all the people are not allowed to come in. That's why it is put rights of admission reserved, means their admission is reserved for some people. Hotels, restaurants, and clubs have their own rules. They have their own rules, hotels, restaurants, and clubs, written as well as unwritten. Now, some of them have put the rules, some have not put the rules. Means that doesn't mean you can behave anyhow in the restaurants or hotels if the rules are not put. With the most popular one being right of admission reserved. Which is most popular of being right of admission reserved? Means there are some restrictions, rules of the hotels, restaurants, and clubs which restrict people from coming inside. Means all the people are not allowed to go in clubs. You can see this sign, which means right of admission is reserved. Now, can you reserve the right of people going in a railway station? No, because railway station is a public place. It is allowed for all the public to go on the railway station. But hotels are not public place because hotels are owned by the owners. So they have their own rules which limit the people from coming to the hotel or clubs. Rights to admission reserved means all the people are not allowed to come into the hotel and clubs. The answer is in a club. Please wear a cap if you have long hair. Now, where do you see this poster or notice? On a beach or near a swimming pool? Have you gone for a beach? Have you all gone to a beach? Yes. So, is there any restriction on the beach that you cannot go on a beach at this time, at this time? You can go anytime. Are there people to help you to take out from the water or to help you for the swimming? No, there are no rules and restrictions for going to a beach. You can open your hair, you can tie your hair, you can, if you're not wearing a swimming dress, even then you can, then also you can go on a beach. But this notice is put outside a swimming pool. Why? Because if you go in a swimming pool without tying your hair will get dirty because chlorine is added in the swimming pool water. And in beach water, is there anything added? No, because it is a natural water. Sea has a natural water. But in the swimming pool, you have to protect your hair from the chemicals like chlorine. Protects your hair. Swim caps are not meant for keeping your hair dry, but they do add a small layer of protection against chlorine damage on your hair. Some even keep your head warmer when you are swimming in cold, large bodies of water. Now, when it is compulsory for everyone to wear a swimming cap when you go for a swimming. It is not put on a beach, but it is put on a swimming pool because there are chemicals like chlorine added in the swimming pool water. And if you wear a cap, it helps your hair protect from the chemical. So this sign or board is put outside the near a swimming pool. As you can see in the image, you should wear a cap and go for swimming. Now students, here are the answers you can mark in the textbook. Houseful, in front of a cinema hall, because houseful, they put a board when the tickets are finished for selling, they have no tickets left with them, they put the board houseful. Fasten your seat belt on an aeroplane, because when the plane land and take off, so that you should not fall from your seat, you have to tie the seat belt. Credit cards accepted in a restaurant, because in a bus there is a bus conductor who accepts only cash, and in a restaurant you can eat and pay your money by credit card. That's why it is put credit cards accepted. LLB is a degree which is put beside a lawyer's name. LLB means Bachelor of Law. Bachelor of Law. Silence. Silence board is always put outside or inside a library, because library is a place where you have to sit quietly and you have to study and read. In a restaurant you go out for fun to eat food, so you don't need to be silent there, but in a library you have to be silent. MBBS, again MBBS is a degree, Bachelor of Medical and Bachelor of Surgery, which means which is put beside a doctor's name, which cannot be beside a computer expert's name. Computer expert's name is a software engineer or an engineer developer or like that. Now we move ahead. Where will you see these signs? Where do you see the sign of no smoking? You see it on a petrol pump, because the area of the petrol pump is highly inflammable, which means it can catch fire very fast. So the people carrying cigarette will also carry the lighter to burn the cigarette, which can catch fire on the petrol pump. That's why this sign is put on the petrol pump. Rights of admission reserved is put in a club, because club, hotels and restaurants are the places where they have their own rules, the owner have their own rules, and they do not give the permission to all people to come inside their hotels and clubs. Rights of admission reserved cannot be put on a railway platform, because railway platform is a public place and all the people are allowed to go on the railway platform and travel in a train. So right of admission reserved is put on a outside a club, which means there are some restrictions to go to go before the club, to go inside the club and the hotel. Please wear a cap if you have long hair. You see this board outside or near a swimming pool. You do not see this board on a beach, because beach is a natural place. It is not a man-made thing. Beach is natural. Swimming pool contains chemicals like chlorine, which can damage our hair. So if we wear a cap before swimming in a swimming pool, we can protect our hair. That's why uh, this board is put near a swimming pool. So the answer is swimming pool. Did you know? Now we move ahead with the point. Did you know? On the front of every ambulance, you will find this written, ambulance in a mirror image. Mirror image, which is opposite of the uh, it is the opposite written. Opposite alphabets are written. It is written like this so that the person driving the vehicle in front of the ambulance can, through the rear view mirror, read the word as ambulance, that is straight. You can see it is written opposite direction in a mirror image. And if you are ahead of the ambulance and you see that the ambulance has to go, how will you see? You cannot turn backside when you are driving, but you see the vehicles that are coming behind from you, that you can see in the mirror of the vehicle, so that when you see the ambulance that is opposite written in the mirror, you see it straight. You see it straight written, so that you understand when you see in the mirror that ambulance is behind you and it needs place to go on the road, so that you can move aside and let the ambulance go first. You should never block the way of the ambulance. You should always allow the ambulance to go first, because there might be some ill person who needs to be admitted in the hospital very soon. If we do not give the way to the ambulance, the person might get more ill. That's why always you should give the way to the ambulance first. That's why it is written in the mirror image, so that you can read straight when you are driving in the mirror of your vehicle, so that you can give way for the ambulance. You can see the ambulance, it is written in the mirror image. And when you see in your mirror, vehicle of your mirror, you see it straight written, so that you understand ambulance is coming and it needs way to go. Students, here we end with the fourth chapter of GK. I hope you all might have understood the signs of the boards where all the notices are put and messages and signs. If you have any doubts or queries, you can mail it on my mail ID. Thank you for listening to the lecture. Thank you so much. If you have any doubts or queries, you can mail it on my mail ID. Thank you.